So I do want to include a quote, first of all. There's going to be a lot of quotes within this presentation. And this was from Bright and Brilliant, which was to celebrate World Parkinson's Day in 2021. And it consists like a unique collection of poetry written by those people. And they could be family members, they could be professionals, supporters, etc. And the poem actually highlights that the community, either what they go through, how they feel, and with different emotions, or whether it be something funny like what's it called? If read the example here. So, a day trip to the country, an unwelcome need to pee, grappling with buttonfly trousers, early PD ignorance. Help! Where's the nearest tree? And the idea is, people with PD, they suffer with urinary incontinence, and he's struggling to open the buttonfly trousers, and thus, ends up peeing himself. And we do have solutions to it. So instead of buttonfly trousers, there's adapter-wear Velcro bands, and they work practically. It's easy to take off your trousers and to put them back on. And if you were to suffer with tremors, as I said, it's easier to take off. And you know what? It's still stylish, regardless. It doesn't take away the aesthetic from the buttonfly trousers. But it's a great example to show the adaptability that the community provides based on a problem. And you can even say there's solutions, and that's what we're here to discuss today. There are problems within the Kent area, and there are solutions that we need to provide. So yeah. By the way, if you've come in, you can take a seat. Yeah. Don't be shy if you come back from placements.
We're in the right position here because I am taking photos.
So don't be shy. Don't fear away, etc. So yeah. So let's discuss a little bit more about Parkinson's disease. I've shown you a poem about the individual with the buttonfly trousers, but for those who may not may need a general basic understanding of what Parkinson's is, well, it's a neurodegenerative disorder, and within the UK, around I'd say if I can do the maths, 1/1000s or 2,000 of people are found to have Parkinson's disease, and they present with such symptoms such as bradykinesia, which is the slow movement, unstable gait, muscular rigidity, and the most common sign that when people think of Parkinson's disease is the idea of tremors. And I thought it would be nice to quote from a doctor within Ping Pong Parkinson's, and I will discuss about them later, that everything slows down and stiffens up with Parkinson's, and everything that a person does, and doesn't mean muscles themselves, but also them as a person as well. And people may describe that their brain that used to be so sharp now takes a slower turn, and how people view them as well. There is a stigma around it, just because they may dress slower, shower slower, bake slower, write slower, do anything from within those day-to-day activities. They are seen to be considered as slow, and it's a misconception. And that if that misconception continues to prevail, it affects them as well, mentally as well. And we do see those with Parkinson's, they show signs of depression or anxiety as well. We do have some treatment therapies for people as well. Whether it be like physiotherapy, whether it be physiotherapy, for example, let's say small exercises, occupational therapy. For example, who wants to make referrals and appointments or ease their day-to-day activities, whether it be in the house or outside as well. And there's medication as well. I did include deep brain stimulation. I don't believe it's used as often, but one of the main highlights, my animations are all over the place, but one of the main highlights that we use for medication is levodopa. And levodopa is considered one of the first-line treatments within the UK, and but the issue is there are some issues surrounding it. First of all, is the symptoms. They show sleepiness. They can show, although it may treat, let's say, slow movements or rigidity, they can show dyskinesia as well, and alongside nausea and vomiting. Now, let's say, for example, what's it called? They want to go from, let's say, go to the house. They're going from they're going for a shopping tour. They want to go back, right? That sleepiness can affect them. I spoke to one patient, and he says that he's unwilling, to go out of the house because he may fear that he'll be caught sleeping, or the bus that he takes will take him to the last stop of the destination, and it's an embarrassment kind of factor as well. And we need to think of other therapies that can benefit them, other than just saying, here's a medication, go on about your day. Because levodopa will slow down the progression, but can mask away those kind of symptoms. But in terms of the progression, that will still continue, and there needs to be other things that need to be added on. So one of the major factors we're actually focusing on is actually the exercise. And that's the main aspect we're going to be talking about today, and how it's actually limited within the Kent area. So what exercises am I, thinking of? Well, here's my animations going all over the place again. We can think of like running and cycling. We got strength training, such as weight machines. We got balance, such as Tai Chi. And interestingly, so Tai Chi is actually a martial art, and it uses kind of your own body weight as well, so stepping from one foot to the other as well. And in one study, they found out within 24 weeks of doing Tai Chi, they found a decrease in falls by 70%, and also an increase in carryover of improving their motor and physical symptoms, which also benefited their mental health as well. And there is, data on, the benefits of long-term, doing exercises. So you can see on the graph, graph A, it shows the interactions of the different types of physical activities you can, someone with Parkinson does. So the blue line shows the, let's say, lower daily physical activities, and the red line shows the higher daily physical activities. The y-axis shows MDS UPDRS, and this stands for Movement Disorder Society Unified Parkinson's Disease Rating Scale. So essentially the idea, it is a score that determines the progression of the disease, and it's split into 4 parts. We look at the non-motor symptoms, such as it can be their mood, their motor symptoms, such as their speech, like handwriting, motor examination, and finally any motor complications as well. And you can find that those who've done the higher daily physical activities, and we've followed up within the years, shown a much slower progression with from the disease rating scale, and it led to a slower decline in activities of daily living. As I showed you before with the Tai Chi, we saw less motor complications. So of course you can start to visualize that disease rating scale will begin to decrease. Had they not done it at all, you would have seen the graph shoot up much more higher. And bear in mind, this is with people on medication as well. So you can see the benefits of doing exercise on top of providing that treatment. So of course I don't want to bore you out, so we can do one little pop quiz. So within the UK, it is recommended for a 19 to 64-year-old to do at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week. So my question to you guys, to improve the quality of life for a patient with Parkinson's, do you know the recommended amount of exercise a week? Anyone want to shoot some guesses?
An hour.
An hour. Anyone else?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Anyone else?
You have to put it in minutes, please say that. I'm sure I read something like 5 to 6 days a week that you have to do each
Mhm.
day, so times it up.
So we have around 3 hours, 30 minutes, and 1 hour. Shockingly, it is the same amount.
Really?
The same amount. You only need 150 minutes, right? Of course, I say that as a minimum, that's recommended, but it's also recommended, as us as healthy individuals, it's the same as recommended in those with Parkinson's as well. So, no, you don't need to do more, you don't need to do less. It is quite similar, in fact, the same. But the issue is, okay, yes, it's the same, but why are individuals with Parkinson's not getting that exercise amount? Why are they not, being able to do those exercises in the first place? I know I mentioned it multiple times. Does anyone want to have a guess why? I put a map of Kent's.
Because they have to travel, it's not convenient.
Exactly, right? So if I was want to do tennis, right? I'll go down to the local tennis center. If I want to go to the gym, I'll go to the gym they're nearby. I want to do martial arts, etc. But those are for those who are, healthy and normal. They don't show motor complications, motor symptoms, etc., etc. That I don't need to have any adaptability services to, enter those areas to be able to do those sports. Those with Parkinson's, there needs to be volunteers. There need to be some people to look after them, because if they do suffer from a fall, that's a grave complication right there. But most places that provide those exercise therapies don't have those facilities for them. We do see them in the area. Don't get me wrong. In Folkestone we have group boxing. In Ashford we have the exercise group and football. And similar within north of Maidstone and south of Rochester. And they're really, really spread far apart. If I want to do football, I have to go to probably Ashford. If I want to do some boxing, I'll probably have to go to Folkestone. So there's a limit on how varied I can go around the area. As I talked about the levodopa, people feel sleepy, right? Imagine I took a bus to, let's say, Folkestone, and then I missed the bus going to Folkestone, and I end up somewhere else. So that's one thing, patients do worry about, and they can't get back late at night, and there is hindrance on reaching those activities. But we do have an area, what's called known as the Parkinson Centre Integrated Therapy, that brings everything together, and that's something I do want to, talk about to bring attention to as well. So, what's called, this is the PSIT. It's really close by to Kent. You just walk down past the sports centre and you reach there. And this is one of the poems that was found that they actually wrote down and painted on the wall. This is by Gail Ann. I believe that's our Facebook there. And the poem is titled Mind. So, bring me back to my mind, not the mind that's working overtime, the one that watches that. The gentle part of me who sits behind thought's waterfall in quiet contemplation. So the way I've interpreted it, the way I've read about it, is that the point of the piece here is to say that, okay, the waterfall is like this ravaging mind, either the stresses or what you kind of go through. And the idea of the piece is to sit behind that waterfall, to look back and reflect, and to have a look at, the waterfall, and to not get swept up by it as well. And you can think of it as sort of a medication to look back on our thoughts and to reflect upon it. And the piece does an amazing job of that. It not only helps those with Parkinson's reflect upon, what they may be going through, and the staff help to assist that as well, but it benefits those who work and volunteer as well, to help those within the community. So I thought it was a kind of a cute poem. Maybe you take maybe a benefit, maybe you may interpret it a different way. Up to you. I've actually never met the poet who wrote that, so yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the piece and what it involves. So it's an integrated therapy centre, essentially, right? And it provides a comprehensive support to those with Parkinson's. So let's say you were to sign up with PSIT, right? It provides you or your loved one a comprehensive assessment plan. And let's say I went to a GP and I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's. I'll probably get a maximum, like maybe a 15-minute appointment before I get to move on. Instead, the PSIT provides a 2-hour assessment, essentially, right? And a detailed report written up at the end. So I had the privilege of attending, going to the PSIT, seeing how it is, and there is a great care, value, and importance of someone's life, and it's not just in a way that if you came with a problem and it may be considered minor to someone else, but it may be considered major to them, and that's written up in the report, and it's taken on further as well. So whether you need to be, you may be recommended to do some, let's say, neurophysiotherapy. So whether it could be specific appointments with them to ease your symptoms, or whether you may prefer to do group classes, such as improving your balance and coordination, and that works hand in hand. So let's say on Tuesdays you want to do group classes, on Wednesdays you want to do physiotherapy. There's a range of things people can do. Let's say you like something, let's say you don't like something. It's all included within the PSIT. And what's really nice is this is one of the examples of their timetables. So you can see there's a really great range of flexibility within the timetable itself. I know that they're trying to include a sleep clinic and a hair and beauty salon, so I think that's quite an interesting addition to the piece if anybody wants to improve their hair, get or don't want to suffer with judgments within, let's say, services within the Canterbury area. Instead, you can get it done within the PSIT. I know Fenwick is trying to assist with that as well. So yeah, that's one example of their timetable, and it does range every week as well. But as I say, it's an integrated therapy, right? So let's say you do the neurophysiotherapy and you do the group classes. You come back again, you do the referral, the complete assessment again, and a detailed report will be made upon that. And perhaps some changes may be made, perhaps some things may go well. And it's the idea of this, as I say, the patient-centered care, right, cycle, that everything you do is taken in consideration. It's not left ignored. And I think that's one of the beauties of the Parkinson's Centre, to, as I say, look behind that waterfall, see how things are going on, and support you all the way through. So I ended off with one of the quotes about from one of the members. So it's worth the travel, to go to the PSIT. And I know members would tell me that, I like to go on Wednesdays because I want to see the tea and cake and do the art as well. And with the range of services, it really is a very accessible centre that you only see within the entirety of the UK. This is only one of the integrated therapies seen, and that's only based in Kent. When I was speaking to other charities from Parkinson's UK, they've never heard of the PSIT, so I think it's great value to bring recognition towards it, and perhaps things like that can be implemented elsewhere within the UK. So yeah, that's a bit about PSIT. So, yep.
I just want to say that clients have to pay, don't they?
Yes.
They have memberships. So
yes.
It is a service that paid.
Yeah, so it is a paid service. I believe it is £90 a month, I believe so. I may have to double check, don't hold me accountable to that. But yeah, it is a paid service. But from the people I've spoken to, they believe that service is really, really beneficial to them, and they'd rather get something done than wait for the next appointment only to be shut down within, to 10, 15 minutes. So there is a cost to it, but think most people take up that cost. So yeah.
You automatically exclude anyone who's Parkinson's and low economic background.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're thinking about table tennis, it's worth thinking about that, because I think accessing all of these things, if you haven't got any money, gets that much harder.
Yeah.
And you talk about travel and all of those things, that gets harder and harder if you don't have money, basically.
No, I 100% agree. Obviously, I love for services like this to be free, but it's all about making that kind of push effort to get to that stage.
We need the social care to subsidise things like this, so that it's
Yeah, because it's not free to run. It's very expensive to run a centre like that. High quality care with really good practitioners.
Yeah.
That's it's worth it for the patients, but it is making sure that, like Mary was saying, people in the community that don't have access to funds or
Get that
support,
service.
they don't. Some of them might have someone that can drive them there. They can't get themselves there. There's another barrier, isn't it?
Yeah.
For people, yeah.
No, I 100% agree as well. And I think the piece it tries to limit that, having everything in one area.
no,
Always.
they absolutely do. I'm not suggesting
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just something when you're
Presenting.
taking this idea forward. It's like having a way we can make this it's free at the point of use.
Yeah.
So that obviously we have to subsidise all the costs that go to sit behind it being free at the point of use. And that might not be feasible, but it would be a good aspiration.
No, it would be an amazing aspiration. Or to see it all around the country, or to be used as a model within the NHS or other not just Parkinson's, other clinics as well. I think MS as well would be a major push forward as well. So yeah. So a question about exercise as well. So the idea is why involve table tennis, and it is one of the therapies, and I do want to bring kind of recognition to it. So this was a quote based within the USA. So I know we discussed that the idea that the USA has a really big push on Parkinson's, and you can consider them as the leads. And they find out that it's uniquely beneficial for those with Parkinson's disease because they focus on balance, hand-eye coordination, rhythmic movements, and concentration as well. And another thing as well, it's great fun socially as well. You can be on the opposite side of your friend. You can rally. You can talk to your friend. Unless you're competitive, you can, keep quiet and try and destroy them. But you do find that some people do enjoy a chat while playing a sport as well. And additionally, it's quite an accessible sport. It can be set up nearly everywhere. We do have there's tables outside, there's tables inside. They're set up in village halls. It's just all about gaining that attention. But it is, yes.
Can you play if you're in a wheelchair on a standard table, or do you have to drop that?
No. So you do find that some people in wheelchairs can actually play.
Because that would be another benefit, because it's actually still quite a
Yeah.
lot of movement on the hand and eye coordination if you're in a wheelchair.
You do find that they may not even need to move, to be honest. They usually use the arm's length to reach the ball. There are some accessibilities as well. I think in Nottingham, they may increase the size of the ball to make it easier for them as well. There is other sports, if they do find difficulty with movement, what you do is remove the net, and the idea is to push against the ball on the flat surface, and if the ball falls off the table, then the other person wins the point. So there's ways to build up from it as well, and if they feel comfortable hitting the ball and using a net. But most tend to be able to as well. It's quite an easy sport to pick up from the get-go, and to coach as well, which we hopefully something that we can provide. But yeah, one of the charities we want to work with is called Ping Pong Parkinson. So it's a global movement. It really is a global movement. It was based mainly in the USA introduced by someone called Bach, and we're seeing world championships, being done around the country. I think the last one was in Slovenia, and I'll actually show you a video of it. So here's a video of what ping pong Parkinsons is. So yeah, if the sound plays. No? Okay.
I can just about hear something.
Is it? So that was one of the World Championships in 2024, and there are more World Championships across 3 years. They've done it in the planning. I think that was announced 3 weeks ago, all the way to Switzerland. And I jokingly said, when's the next one happening in the United Kingdom? So it'd be really nice to actually visit one of those countries and have them. Yeah, the next one's in Italy. In October. I'm quite interested to see the clip highlights. They do live stream I think they put videos up of the matches, I think of every single one of them. So yeah.
Like they did doubles and singles there.
Yeah, so there's a variety. There'll be mixed doubles, all females, males, male doubles, any combination you can think of. Team events as well. So yeah. One of the shocking truths is why are we even hosting a World Championships? What about the Paralympics? And shockingly, those with Parkinson's actually cannot compete in the Paralympics, which is surprising, to be honest. You'll consider that there's 11 categories in in the Paralympics, and you'd think they'll fit in at least one of the 11, but no, they don't at all. And it's not recognised, and they can't play. I think the only one they can play in is rowing, but that's just diabolical, to be honest. The fact that we have to, implement a world championship by a charity and not to be considered by the Paralympics is, I consider it as diabolical, and it's one of the goals of ping pong Parkinsons to help recognise Parkinson's as a sport to be played in the Paralympics. So yeah. So what even is ping pong Parkinsons? As I discussed, it's a non-profit organisation dedicated to slowing down the progression of Parkinson's diagnosis. And ping pong is to be used as as an intervention, because it can be considered a challenging physical exercise depending on how much you take it. As I discussed, the hand-eye coordination, the balance involved as well. And he's the one who leads the organisation in Bach, and he's a founder, and he does suffer with Parkinson himself. And he does sing as well. He has some singing videos as well. And his approach, and such an approach of using table tennis is actually encouraged by his neurologists. Don't get me wrong, as a med student, there has to be research as well. And there was a pilot study done for table tennis as a beneficial sport. And as you can see, once again, I talk about that MDS, UPDRS, that's that kind of scale. So part 2 of that scale talks about motor experience of daily living, such as speech, handwriting, and dressing. And we actually find a drop after 6 months of those with, who play table tennis with Parkinson's disease. I do recognise there is an overlap with the data as shown, but one of the limitations it is as as a pilot study, and it is one of the only research that explores table tennis solely as a marker, whether it can benefit those with Parkinson's. So yeah, so the idea is that we need more than that, because if we are going to show that table tennis is a sport that can be used, it needs to be more explored in research. So yeah. The paper also does talk about that we can use the auditory clues of the ball hitting the bat can actually help to promote someone moving as well. And it is kind of true, when you hear something being hit, it causes someone to move. It provides an excitatory visual, essentially. And I find that quite a unique aspect to be discussed about. There is a stimulus that causes a response, and we see that in all sports. It's what gets people moving, it's what increases their reaction time, and that's going to improve, in terms of neuroplasticity as well for the brain. So, what does Ping Pong Parkinson's do to, support as a session, right? How do we ensure that actually people are getting the most out of it? So, this is what an average session kind of looks like. So, the first thing I like to do is do weights, right? 1 kilogram weights, and this is the strength training aspect of it, right? So 1 kilogram weights as a kind of a warm up, right? The next thing they like to do is juggling afterwards. So first of all, improving a bit of the balance, and to do a bit of coaching as well. So you can consider those as the warm ups, and then start doing the coaching aspect. And then finally, a bit of rallying, a bit of the aerobic training. And finally, something more dynamic. And it's a bit weird. I was a bit surprised at first. Why would singing, be a beneficial tool? But it's actually a very dynamic exercise. And we do tend to forget that we have so many muscles in the face, and singing helps to use those muscles, and it shouldn't be something that's ignored. We do think of muscles in the arms, legs, etc., but we have muscles in the face as well, and it's something that is going to improve their physical symptoms, but it also improves their mental health, keeps them smiling, elevates their mood as well. So yeah. And as I said, the most, the rewarding bit about table tennis is there's a very big social component. You see that in all sports, not just table tennis itself. So yeah, I think that's what really makes it magical. And I can speak on that as a personal level. I love table tennis as a sport. I find it addicting. I could play for hours if I want to, but my studies kind of stop me. And it's something I want to implement within the society. It's something that I want to take forward, because I could have other volunteers, I could be there by myself, but I do want to encourage my own members, to help out as well within a community like this. So, I talked about the positive effects of playing table tennis and all of that, but there are some limitations, as I keep hammering on about. There is limited research, and the awareness of this kind of therapy is extremely low. So, what are we doing about it? Well, first of all, through the help of the Kent Uni and the Sports Centre as well, and Ping Pong Parkinsons and Parkinson Centre, little animation going on. The idea is to animate the scientific community, and the way we're going to do that is to actually host regular sessions to people living with Parkinson's by using table tennis. So hopefully next academic year, we'll be able to see more regular sessions, at least 1 hour a week of those with Parkinson's to play table tennis, and hopefully that can be taken up on board to see what's it like before, what's it like after, by using table tennis as a therapy sport. Of course, I do want to bring awareness to it as a charity event on the 14th of June. That we're doing a brownie sale and a doubles tournament. So the idea, those with Parkinson's and those with non-Parkinson's, to be paired up to do a little doubles match. Of course, it's all friendly. It's not something that needs to be, what's it called, serious and competitive. If you lose, if you win, doesn't matter. As I say, it's the social component that makes it, you know, all magical. So yeah, do let me know, come up the front, tell me if you want to join up for something like this. But yeah, I do want to end it off with a small quote that, you know, blue is the colour, Parkinson's is our game, we're all together with educating being our game, we're all together and curing is our aim. And that was the biggest point of the talk. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. If anybody has any questions, no? Thank you.